Hello everyone! It's good to see you guys. Well, at least see the chat. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I am excited to show you guys what we can work on today. So today working on Scum Snout. We shared a picture a little bit ago about Scum Snout. Actually, I think it was this particular picture I have up on my in Photoshop. Showing, hey, these are potential outfits. Well, we've figured out what we want to do. He actually doesn't get an eye patch, sadly. He said he's going to have a different look. And I've gone ahead and modeled him, and we're sending him off to our animators to be modeled soon. But one of the things I got to do is figure out. Just give me a second there. Is actually I got to figure out what kind of poses do we want him to be standing in. And I've taken a couple of reference pictures. They look funny, because it's a human pretending to be a wear-it, but it'll be fun. Anyway, so again, I want to kind of show you what we ended up doing. This is the concept that we ended on, and then this is the model we ended on. It's just a screenshot, so I can't like turn around, and it's not exactly like finished. These are not the final textures. You can tell between this model and the concept you see on the right that there are stripes that need to be added into places, and like a couple extra. Like some of the detail pieces, like the color makes it exactly there. But we're working on that, and it's just something that I'm really excited to do. So working on that, I started with the process, and if any of you read the Animorph books, or at least remember the covers, kind of looks a little bit like that. I think, yeah. So these are some of the pictures I took. Not that one. This one, I grabbed one of the random tails that are lying around, which is a Pikachu tail, for reference. And then this is what ended up happening as a part of the process, is turning as some fun stuff of turning myself into Scum Snout. So like, how did I want to make this, like, make my person, like from this picture, idea like he'd be leaning forward going, I don't know, I'm trying to do this without looking weird on camera, except for I'm going to look weird anyway. Going from this, use the liquify tool in Photoshop, started drawing over it, using the same colors from the original picture, really, and then turning it into Scum Snout. Granted, it's just the body and no clothing on, but it's just about getting the posturing right. So this is one of the other options, like that I wanted to kind of give of what's going on here. So we're going to take one of the other pictures. I think it's this one that I wanted to work on next, and start off with this and figure out what we got. Yes, that's pretty much I think what Chris said when he saw that picture was, that is not an image I needed to see today. It was a lot of fun, and again, thank you all for joining us today. All right, so first things first, this is the reference picture. I'm going to go ahead and just take the liquify tool, and I'm going to see how well this works with the stream. I'm going to zoom in, come here. He has and you can see the concept on the right. Like, here's the concept. What should he look like? So this means giving me far thicker neck, giving me apparently the square chin, because I'm not going to be able to, like, from this angle, I can't easily like push out the snout. But I can go ahead and just do this, because he has a squatter head than I do. Oh my goodness, I just realized I look like my brother. He has slightly broader shoulders, but they're also sloped. He has more muscle than I do. And then also much larger hands, which I kind of touch on. And then actually the biggest piece is that we have a different ratio from the torso and legs. Like, you can see he has a much longer torso and shorter leg space than my body has. Like right now I have longer legs than I do torso space, or at least it's more even than it is for Scum Snout. So that's the other thing I get to work on adjusting. I will say this is probably going to be the funniest stream we have. yeah, this is based off what we got right here. It's already really rather funny. So, thicker legs. I'm gonna bring up the legs a little bit. Also, actually, wait, no, I'm gonna undo those changes I just did. Because what I want to actually do is, one of the nice things is that today, one of the reasons I'm using a camera today, rather than when usually I don't have the camera on, is because I figured, you know what, I might get up and just walk around. How do I imagine he would look like? What would he do? And we'll figure out if that works. I feel like I need to do that today. Like, how would Scum Snout be when he is, like, but if he's skulking but still walking? That kind of stuff. So, I do have a video that I might show you guys of a brief, like, 30-second video of me walking around trying to be Scum Snout. And again, it's weird looking and funny looking. The bonus to taking the video, though, for us is that we put it up on our thing for our animators to see, and they're like, this is great, this is good reference for us, like we got a better idea of what we want. So I'm taking these pictures again, taking this right here, figuring out more closely. But one of the things I want to do is because the nice thing is that I wore some boots with some tall socks, I actually have already like a specific spot I can use to kind of create what is the oh gosh, I forgot the wording for it. But like he has much longer feet than I have, and longer, like it comes up, it's raised up. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go like this. And I'm just breaking my legs right now. Better fit. This part actually probably is about right-ish. Yes, they have not been using motion capture at all. Like, at least as far as I know. So, yeah, we'll start off with this really weird picture. I'll show you that, guys, the original one, because, yeah. So we went from this normal looking Erin to squat, weird Erin. And now I'm going to go ahead, just because I like to save things here. This is literally what I'm done. Actually, before I do that, I can keep this part in here. I actually forgot that I need to take this part of me and I'm actually just going to scale it up a little bit, maybe a little bit taller. Then I'm going to take the legs, I'm going to scale it down, because again, yeah, right? So again, I'm trying to figure out, like, I have to adjust the body to, like, it's not, like, this isn't just a straight drawing stream today, it's a photo manipulation, essentially. So we're turning myself into Scum Snout, that's what we're doing. And again, I need to make sure that the proportions are correct. One of the things I actually want to do is actually widen up the stance a little bit. That looks a little bit better. And then the next thing I want to do is take this. I'm just doing some rough cutouts, because I don't need to really like cut it out like a whole lot. Just need to get some rough stuff. Also, this arm right here. This arm right here is like is way too thin. Select inverse, delete. starting to get something. So, or at least we're starting off with something. So we're gonna go ahead and just start getting in here. This is about where we want Scum Snout looking. He has this snout. He has actually probably, his eyes would probably be about here. Also, one of the things is that his... I would love to see Scum Snout fan art. That'd be great. Like, I'm actually really looking forward to just fan art in general of our different characters. Like, I want to see what people do with them. Like, how do these go across? Actually, so one of the things I was going to get at is that he actually has a lower set. And you don't see it as much in this picture because it's side view. But, there's a reason why his hands go down lower is because he actually has like just his crotch is down lower, so that's just the easiest way to say that. Yeah, weird pictures, weird things. The other thing that he has that I didn't do in these pictures is I didn't actually keep my mouth open, which, because we're thinking he is a big gruesome slobber creature, so. A different color. There we go. May not be the exact right color for him, but and the nice thing is I don't have to have his exact like proportions for this, but because the animators have the correctly proportioned model, I just have to get like, here's about what I want. And the nice thing about this is that this is going to speed up their animation process because they won't have to try and interpret our words, but instead we'll have an image to go off of.
Then I just told you, Andrew is like Redwall. It's animated to these.
Chris.
Ah!
So Chris has joined the room.
I know.
Although I will say, I think this became like a little bit more big yelp. Yeah, sorry about that. We were having some people come back from lunch right now. This face is not exactly right. Doesn't like wear it. Is that why? Interesting. Is that what that like little star is, or it just doesn't? Yeah, he's a weasel ferret, and I think stoat mix, and they're all within the same like genetic family. They also are in the same family as otters. So, I think someone mentioned that actually earlier. Let me check this. Someone earlier said like he has an almost rudder-like tail, which yeah, Nova, actually you're the one who said that, I think. And that makes sense. Big guy who did the big yelping. But the rudder-like tail makes sense because he has these, like, he doesn't have a skinny tail like a rat does. He is from this like otter-based family, and they have these furrier, utter like rudder-like tails. So, yeah.
I know you're in the middle of streaming, but I may need to ask you to turn your microphone off so that we can do some meetings for the lighthouse scene.
Oh no. Okay.
That'd be all right? Sorry, everyone. Just we only have one room and one big mic, so we might have to just mute her mic.
Yes.
Or you can just overhear everything we say.
It's up to you guys. I
think that would just be noisy.
Yeah, probably. I could. I don't know. Are you guys doing that right now?
Well, otherwise we have to wait until 2 and with
Well, I guess when I say right now, I mean could you hold off till at least halfway through stream so I have that much to talk with them about?
Yes. So why don't we try to do that at 1:30?
Perfect.
That'd be great.
I will mute them. If you guys want to keep hearing my voice, you guys have till 1:30. Just saying. Okay, again, giving myself some muscle. This right here needs to be a bigger arm. But not that much bigger.
Did you see that?
No spying on secret meetings. Yeah, so that was Chris again. He is our big he's our usual, he's our big boss is basically what it comes down to, and doesn't always like to being told to be quiet because hey, he's the boss. He's the one who usually tells us to be quiet or tells us what to do. So it's like, hey, but hey, he's the one who told us let's do streaming, why not? So fun stuff there. Okay, so there's a hand. Like, oops. There. I also accidentally, when I was doing these poses, I accidentally used like 3 fingers when really he's more like this. Yeah, that's about right. So it's like I can kind of use these things for basis. I could give him pretty nail polish if we wanted to. Actually, I feel like that would be just hilarious, so pretty nail polish. There you go. He has pretty nail polish. Like, I know I respond better when I actually have people, when I'm actually talking verbally rather than, because then I can multitask with the talking and with the thing. It's actually one of the reasons why. He currently does. I gave him a weapon up in this concept because it kind of gave me a better, like, here's a pose for him. But we haven't given him thought as to what he's left or right pod. We haven't decided exactly which weapon we wanted to have. We thought about a sword. We actually thought about a mace, but mace is actually something we talked about. but flail actually. We're thinking about flail, but we felt that that was a little bit too close to Clooney's weapon, which is a whip with spikes at the end. Or that's his tail. That's actually the whip. So technically, so we've been talking about that, what that looks like, which also will affect how he attacks and part of the animation pieces. So it's actually those are the things I have to do. So is the other thing is like, what do we want for him? So. Yeah, it does seem like that. Like, I like the idea of maybe a mace. Like, the scimitars feels like almost everyone would have a sword. So it feels like that feels to me a little bit more like a lazier route. It's not true. Even if we decide to do a sword, we're going to have a reason for the sword. So, that's something that we're thinking about. Also, now that I'm actually seeing this, how I want. I'm gonna pull actually this one in a little bit. Now here's the other thing that doesn't quite look right now. Is he looks off balance. And then this leg looks just ridiculously small, which I know it's because of the posing, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this and actually get it slightly bigger. Just things to make it a little bit easier to understand what's visually going on. I haven't even gotten to what his tail's doing either. Like again, I'm not going for like exactly proportionally right, but I want to get like what's he doing during this. So this is probably enough of like, hey, here's a big bad guy over. I did forget something. Okay, so we went from this to this to this. Mostly works. One of the things that we're still missing, again, like I said, is the tail. I'm going to do that on separate later so I can kind of like imagine, like, I would like to start about there. Or I not want it, I know it. Just... He is, so the thing is that right now in the model I actually have it at about 2.5, almost, or 2 1/4, 2.5 mice tall. But because my model, like, I'll go back to this picture, like, he is so out of like proportion. I don't believe that an actual like scum snout's actual physiology will allow him to go straight out like this. But instead he would have to be like this, maybe more like that. Like, I don't physically think he can actually bring his shoulders all the way up like that. And so this is something that his model, I have it scaled to about 2.5, but that's to make it so that when the animators get hold of him, he will actually be more about 2 mice tall, or 2.5, 2.25, 2.25 mice tall. That word, I can't, for some reason I couldn't find it. So, like, so he's gonna be tall, not as tall as a badger, but still big. And bigger than the average, and bigger than a rat, which a rat is 1.5 mice tall. So, on the next one over. There we go. And so one of the things that, like, we imagine that we have his tail, like, it's fuzzy. Of course, Nova. I think at this time it's actually 1:30 now, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself. But please keep asking questions. I'll try my best to answer.